Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lady Bodam and it's a joy to be here just having this conversation with you today. I know. It's been a while since I've been on here. Should we blame life for that? But hopefully I will be back here a lot more regularly to share with you. Now, before I get into what I want us to speak about today, which is emotional triggers for the refined lady, I want to ask you a question. Were you at the Refined Lady Summit a few weeks ago? Yes? No? If you were not, you need to get the replay of that. It was absolutely phenomenal, absolutely amazing. We had 5 sessions or 6 sessions by seasoned women all across the world. The feedback has been phenomenal, and we just have a lot more women getting into the replay. You can get the replay at a nominal fee. I think the link to that will be in the caption here below, and you just go through that course. We've made it into a whole course for you with workbooks to support your learning and just other resource material. So get the Refined Ladies Summit replay today. Now, what I want us to speak about today is really about emotional triggers for the refined lady. And why is this important? So I thought it was important to share this because a lot of the time, as confident women, as refined women, we go through a journey to get to where we are. And we think, hey, I've arrived, there's certain things I've forgotten about, certain things I've got rid of, certain things that no longer represent in my life, I've grown through it, I've come through it, and all of these type of things. And that's brilliant. But sometimes something happens and it just takes you down a rabbit hole that if you're not conscious of, you can sort of get out of control. And this one I'm sharing to you from a personal experience of something that happened to me over the weekend. Now, on Friday, I'm going to tell you a story. On Friday, I had the opportunity to just be with some family and some friends, well, their family literally, to celebrate with them on a wonderful occasion. And it was great, and I was excited. And now I've had a hard year. And I know I'm saying with a smile, like, I've had a hard year. And you're thinking, is that how they have a hard year? But this year, I think, has tested me in ways I didn't quite know, in very significant ways. And I have a lot that's going on in my mind at any point in time, right? As most of us are, okay? Many things, questioning many things, asking many things, and many questions. And, so I've come to this point where I'm like, okay, we're doing something, we're making it through, but all those other things are still in my mind. Now, that's point number 1, and we're going to park that for a second. Point number 2 is I recognize my personality type. And, if I do all the tests and all these things, I am an introvert, which is, I know that already. I didn't need a test to tell me. So I'm introverted by nature, and I'm also 88% melancholic and 12% phlegmatic. And all this is to say that my natural inclination is not to put myself out there and be really the center of attention, and that's not my natural inclination. My natural, social situations sometimes are draining for me. I prefer one-on-one engagements or engagements in very small groups. So I just feel like on display when I'm on display, right? So it takes a lot. It takes a lot for me to work myself up to get in there. It takes a lot for me to stay there, to be fully plugged in. And sometimes, there's a zone I get into. I joke, I tease, I joke with some of my friends, and I tell them, I say, oh, that's my alter ego. I'm joking, I don't have an alter ego, but I have to mentally get into a state where I'm like, okay, we're ready for this, let's go. Now, in service of living a better, more high-performing, more impactful and influential life, I have chosen deliberately to take some of the natural inhibitions of my character, or inhibitions, I beg your pardon, of my character, of my personality, and extend grace and cover it and grow in some areas so that I can sit into where it is I want to be. So we have hard year going on. We have natural character going on. And then we now evolve into this thing. So I was at this weekend, natural things. I've suppressed everything that I need to suppress. Suppress the right word. Well, let's use it for now, for lack of a better word. Thinking, okay, we're going to have a great time. And then someone makes a comment to me out of love. Of course, I don't, it's out of love because I love her very much, very dearly. And I just realized that singular comment sent me spiraling down a little rabbit hole that I thought I had got rid of or I'd got out of and was no longer present in my life. And quite frankly, the whole evening, I was super conscious of myself. Usually in social situations, I'm not as conscious of myself. I'm conscious of other people. I want to make sure everybody else is having a great time. Can this hair just stay? I want to make sure everybody else is having a great time. I want to get up and move around and organize and whatever. But with just that one comment, I became super aware and super conscious of myself. And I realized, even to get up and to move around, I was like, oh my goodness, let me just stay here so that I'm not this, and all this other type of thing going on in my head. And why am I sharing this with you? Now, I have gone through a 30-something year journey. I am in my mid-30s currently. Well, a little over mid-30s, right? And I have gone through a journey of evolving, of becoming my very best self. I thrive on this stuff. I tell myself all the time, you know what? I'm so proud of the woman that I've become. I really genuinely am. But even as confident and as, evolved and as grown, quote and unquote, and as matured as I've become, there's still some triggers that I need to recognize are there so that I can deal with properly. Now, I noticed that my mood had changed a little. I noticed that I was hyper aware, but I wasn't quick enough to recognize what it was. Right? I wasn't. So I'm going to teach you what I should have done and what I will do going forward when I get into those kind of situations, because these things will always come. Now, I think it was last week I attended this wonderful, and you need to follow him on Instagram if you are not, this absolutely amazing session on the neuroscience of personal performance by Dr. Nii Borire. He is an amazing neurologist, neuroscientist. He does great stuff with the brain, right? He does amazing stuff with the brain. He's such a brilliant man, really, really brilliant. And brilliance is just a great thing, and it helps that his other personal character and value and all those things are sort of aligned, in terms of the brilliance. Now, he was speaking about many things in this workshop that I attended. It was about 3 hours, so 3.5 hours. I loved every moment of it. But one of the things he spoke about was how, as human beings, we sometimes get into this threat state. And when we get into this threat state, we have tunnel vision. All we're focusing on is the source of the threat. And our brain puts us into that threat state to sort of protect us. My brain was trying to protect me because, and I won't say it as well as eloquently as he says it. I'm pretty sure you can get the replay of that particular workshop and just sit into it for 3.5 hours or 3 hours or whatever. I hope the replay is available. But the way the brain is, it has different parts of the brain, and there's a part of the brain that's called, I think, the amygdala, and it's the fight, flight, freeze part of the brain. It's what communicates, what you should do in every given situation, and that's the part that scans for threats, and it scans, I think, 5 times every second for threats. It's happening even now. It's scanning now, right, to say, is there a threat? And it happens subconsciously, so you don't even know. And when it identifies a threat, it immediately tells you if you should flee, if you should fight, or if you should freeze, depending on on how you sort of trained it through the years. Now, my brain identified a threat on Friday, and it was just like, you know what, just stay still. Almost like just freeze. You can't run, you can't fight, just freeze. I couldn't run because I was there. I love them dearly with all my heart, and I was at this event, right? I couldn't fight because, hey, that's just not okay. So I just literally was frozen, frozen there in one spot. And that was what my amygdala said. But Dr. Nii said 3 things. He was doing the workshop with another really brilliant woman. I think her name she was Miss Hansen. I'm trying to remember her first name now, but her last name is Hansen, Kristen Hansen, I believe. And they talked us through this 3-step thing you can do within 30 seconds of identifying you're in a threat mode to help you recalibrate. Ready? Okay, let's go. Now, number 1 is breathe. When you're in threat mode, you tend to take shallower breaths, and this was so, I mean, you say these things, we learn these things, but reflecting, I reflect a lot. And coming back, sitting back, I was at home most of yesterday because I had a home emergency I needed to deal with. So I couldn't step out of the house waiting for artisans and all this stuff. That's by the way. So I spent a lot of that time just reflecting on my week and reflecting on my Friday. And I was sitting and asking myself, what exactly happened? What went so wrong so quickly? And I identified the steps, and it was so clear. Even my breathing. Normally when you breathe, you want to breathe from your diaphragm. I hope that's, medical professionals don't kill me, right? I'm just trying to remember. So I think you breathe from here. You're meant to breathe deep and long, all of this. I was breathing shallow breaths, almost like I was like a little kitten caught in the headlights. It's like all my breathing was like surface level breathing. Nothing was going deep. So number one is breathe. And I think it was Kristen that says to breathe, was it 3 times in a minute? I can't remember. But you breathe in for 5 seconds and you breathe out for 5 seconds. And you breathe in again for 5 seconds and out for 5 seconds. So you're taking almost, 6 deep breaths? Something like that in a minute. And it just slows you down. It calms you down. It slows your heart rate down. So that's the first thing. You breathe. Breathe deep. The second thing is name the emotion. In my case, name the trigger. Remember, I'm speaking about emotional triggers. Acknowledge it and identify it. I wasn't acknowledging it. I didn't identify it. I just was hyper aware. So give it a name. So in my case, was it going to be insecurity, or was it going to be fear, or was it going to be imposter syndrome, or was it going? What is that emotion that you're feeling in that moment? Is it anger? Is it discomfort? Is it misunderstood? What is it? What's that word? What's that one word, or 2 words, or 3 words? I want you to name it, acknowledge it, identify it, name it. And then the third thing is to reappraise the situation. So what can I learn or appreciate? In my case, I could have turned that around and appreciated that she felt comfortable enough with me to speak to me and to pass on that kind of message from it. What can I be thankful about is something to ask yourself. And in my case, I could have said, hey, I'm thankful about the fact that she felt comfortable enough with me and she loves me enough to make that statement to me. Right? How can I change the perspective here? This is something to go. My perspective could have been like, hey, Bodam, you're not perfect. You make mistakes. You will fall. You will get up. You will do better. It's not a reflection on who you are. It's not a reflection on your character. You are you. You are growing. You're evolving. How you got here, there's still a lot more to go. That's how I could have changed the perspective on there. And all this is a mental work that you can do within just a few moments to get you out of threat state and back into that reward state. And I would have had a much more beautiful evening. I had a beautiful evening, but I've had a much more beautiful evening if I had done these 3 things. So what am I saying here? Don't be like Bodam. Don't be like Lady Bodam. If you are in a threat state, if you have these emotional triggers that send you spiraling down this path that you can't see the way out of, that takes you down to places that you thought you had grown out of, just don't worry. It happens to everyone. It happens to all of us on our journey to becoming more refined, more elegant, and more sophisticated. I want to encourage you to hang in there. Okay, to recognize emotional triggers are normal because we're human beings. Dr. Nee said something that was really amazing. He said that even after we grow new pathways to new habits and new ways of being, the old pathways are always there because neurons don't die. And I hope I've said justice to that, right? So the pathways in our brain don't die. They don't go away. They will always be there. We're just building new pathways in our habits and our behavior and our way of being. So if something happens that takes you back down that old pathway, it's normal because that pathway doesn't die. So don't beat yourself up about it. Recognize that you're human, as I am human. And I've taken it on Saturday. I was like, okay, I just need an infusion of joy and an infusion of peace. And I was like, Bodam, you're human. It's okay. You will make mistakes. I honor you for your commitment to your journey. I honor you because of how far you've come. I honor you because of how far you're going to go. I extend grace to you for the times you'll make mistakes. I extend grace to you for the times that you won't get it right. And it's okay. Keep on going, baby girl. Keep on going. That's what I told myself. And I hope that's what you're going to tell yourself too. I hope this was insightful for you. I hope it was. I don't know. This hair is determined to just get in the way and just speak to you. I think it wants you to see it, right? I'm on braids today. Anyway, that's what I wanted to pop in to share with you. Let me know what you thought of this. Let me know if anything resonated with you in the comment section below. Please like this video, share, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and yeah, speak to me. I love to hear from you. I love to hear your light bulb moments. And if there's anything you want me to teach about, speak about, share on, please do send me a message. Until next time, stay safe and remain beautiful. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.